You just completely blinked. You good? No? No, we in the trenches?
Colts lost. Lakers suck. Dodgers don't play for at least another few weeks. Kings or whatever. I'm in a pit.
Yeah, I can tell.
Also, last week I gave everything I could to this podcast.
Yeah.
I gave all the energy I could.
Yeah.
Right after he walked out of this room, I had COVID.
Yeah, that was
this is the
that
first
was a
day
thing.
I feel like a human being again. It's been a bad week. And the Colts losing, Don was here for the entire thing.
that was a rough go of it.
Meanwhile, Don's like, the same day his team loses, and he's like, oh, it's okay. We already have the first seed locked up. I don't care about a Steelers loss. I'm the happiest guy in the world. Look at my championship belt. I just wanted to kill him.
Yeah, no, I mean I would want to as well. I get that.
Don, give me a fact.
So going based on that, my team already has the number 1 seed locked up. Just a quick loading. First time ever in NFL history, a division has all finished over 500.
Okay. I've gone back and forth with your division a lot this year.
It feels weird, right?
I think at one point I was like, they're the best division, and then
That's
got
how
hurt.
it started in my mind.
And I was like, you guys have the worst division now. Ha ha. And then very, very quickly it was like, oh, do we? Check this out. We all finished above 500. There was 3 backup quarterbacks in our division. 3 backup.
More than that.
3 backup quarterbacks.
The Browns started 5 different quarterbacks this season.
Jesus Christ. The Steelers started 3.
Yeah. Bengals only had 2.
Bengals only had 2 quarterbacks.
And then technically we started Tyler Huntley week 18, but I don't think that really counts.
That's
but
crazy.
it does count to like counting stats.
That's an insane. It's been an insane NFL season. We're here. It's Wildcard Weekend.
Yep, Super Wildcard Weekend. Because we have that 7th seed that should not exist, in my opinion.
I think it's the best thing ever.
Really?
I more football.
It is more football. I do enjoy that.
Do you not want more football?
No, I want more football,
Sounds
obviously.
like you're communist. That's what it sounds like to me.
But at the same time, I want more football. Of course I want more football.
Of course you want more football.
Nothing like the 7th seed is such a BS seed.
No, it's not, dude.
The Steelers
are a good team. They're quite literally the definition of a good team.
and they're about to get blown out.
Maybe not. The snowstorm might save them.
Yeah, that's true. And then
From a blowout.
who has the 7th seed in the NFC?
Take a guess. It's a NFC South team. Oh no, it's
No,
the Packers.
it's
the
Green
Packers
Bay.
Packers might win that game against the Cowboys.
So 2 teams that should be in rebuilds.
But they're not. That's the best thing about the NFL. Nothing is a rebuild. Everyone thought the Cardinals weren't going to win a game, let alone score a point. They didn't finish the worst team in the league.
No, somehow Bryce Young hasn't scored in like 4 weeks in the season.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, what are we talking about? I love Super Wildcard. I like Wildcard Weekend the most.
Yeah.
I like it. It's my favorite week of the
Wildcard
season.
Weekend is exciting.
It's the best. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Good football around. There's going to be a couple blots.
Yeah.
There are.
No,
We're going
there
to
will
talk
be.
about them.
Yeah, we'll get
We're
into
gonna
it.
get
We'll
into that
get
later.
into it.
But as of right now, Super Wildcard Weekend is fantastic. Now, let's go into question of the day.
Sure.
Before we're recording this episode, huge news dropped. Nick Saban is retiring from football.
Yes.
My question to you and the audience is, what is your core Nick Saban memory? What is Nick Saban going to be remembered for? Now, for me, Nick Saban is college football.
Yeah.
In my life,
In our lives times, yeah, he's just been the guy.
7 national championships. He has set the gold standard to make the number 1 organization in my lifetime of Alabama dominance. They're a machine.
Yes.
They are. There was a point where it was just like, you're going to get insane defense. You're going to get great receivers. You're going to get insane running backs.
That running back room
mediocre
has just been
quarterbacks.
phenomenal under his tenure.
You want to play a game? Let's just rattle off. We don't have the list in
No,
front
we
of
don't
us.
have the list. You want me to bring it up?
Nah.
No,
I wanna
okay,
rattle
let's see
off.
it, let's hear it.
My line is 10. Can we name 10 Nick Saban Alabama running backs?
Oh my goodness.
Ready?
Okay, yeah,
I'm gonna go first.
sure.
I'll take a hard one off the board. I'm gonna go T.J. Yeldon.
Yeah, that's a deep one.
Okay.
Jameer Gibbs, rookie.
Jameer Gibbs. Good. I'll take the next one. Derrick Henry.
Then you have Kamara.
Alvin Kamara off the board, even though he went to Tennessee, got drafted out of the kid. But He's a running back.
Out of Alabama originally.
Damian Harris is my next pick.
Oh, my goodness.
Damian Harris. Stud running back. We got 5 more. You got
I'm feeling... No, like, I know. But I'm like... No, obviously you have Mark Ingram. But I was trying to remember if Nick Chubb went there or not.
Nick Chubb went to Georgia.
Okay, divisional rivals. Divisional rival. Which, again, they just make running backs in the SEC.
Najee Harris. Insane running back.
Is he?
He was at Alabama.
He was at Okay. I like that asterisk on there.
There's other guys I'm forgetting now. There's like little receiving scat backs that I'm like, I forgot here and there. But at the end of the day,
I'm feeling like James White probably spent a season there.
James White, I think, went to also Georgia.
My mind is just on the Georgia teams. I guess,
but it doesn't matter.
No,
when you think
it's just banger after banger running back room. Dude, you have elite quarterbacks that have come out of there.
Just safeties and corners coming out of the woodwork. You would just have like new defensive linemen come out of Alabama every single year, and they were always like top 10 picks. Offensive linemen, just great juggernauts, and they didn't really produce quarterbacks. I remember A.J. McCarron. I was like, A.J. McCarron's going to be the guy. That didn't pan out.
I think there's just so much elite talent around Alabama that it elevates your quarterbacks.
Because of Nick Saban.
Because of Nick Saban, yeah, he schemes really, really well.
Saying that, my core Nick Saban memory is not a victory.
No?
It's the Iron Bowl, Auburn returning a punt or the kicks, kick six for them.
Yeah.
To finish the game. That's like when I think of Nick Saban, that's the play. And then
that's what it took to beat him was a fluke.
But like when I think of like Nick Saban games, the BCS national championship game against LSU where they win like 6-3 or 9-3, it's like the ugliest game of all time.
But that's what that team. Yeah.
And then only to do like 7 years later win a playoff game against Deshaun Watson where they scored like 40 points, which is like the flexibility and the ability to adapt. Nick Saban was able to do everything at such a high level.
Do you think that we're seeing a big overall changing of the guard in head coaches right now? Because like Saban retiring, Pete Carroll he was promoted via firing, and then you have Belichick possibly going somewhere else, possibly stepping down.
Everything's got to change. Eventually,
everything does change.
On, and eventually,
but like this year
dies.
Is like the first year first year since '98 we don't have a Manning or a Brady in playoffs. Yeah, like, it just feels like this is like a definitive changing of the guard year.
It's been 26 years. Of course, it's 25 years.
No, I'm not.
It wasn't
I'm
supposed to last this long.
No, it hasn't. But it's just weird that it's all happening in the same year.
It's because people are getting old, and they got paid during the 2010s.
Yeah,
and now they're gonna retire with their families and spend time with their family with their multi millions as. They should be doing.
Yes, 100%.
As I would be doing.
Well, we'll see if Belichick actually retires.
My question about this Nick Saban retirement is more of towards, is this an NIL problem? Because everything we're hearing about all these head coaches and coaching programs, they're like they get no time off. It's always recruiting. And not only do you have to recruit
get burnt out.
High schoolers, you have to recruit college students, you have to recruit guys that you recruited the year before. Guys who were like, I didn't play my freshman year. I guess I'm going to go play at Georgia. Like, that gets tiring, and now you have an allocated amount of money, which we already knew they were paying guys underneath the table.
Yeah,
but now you pretty much have a cap where you're like, I can only spend $250,000 on a corner. Oh, I didn't get a good enough one? I guess I got to spend another $600,000 to go get a quarterback over here. You're spending, like, real, like, huge amount of money, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's a fixable thing. I'm not saying don't pay the players. I think every player should get as much money as they possibly can.
I just don't think that we all expected the players to make as much as they are right now. The market is, if it came out hot, and it's just been going crazy since.
It came out what they're worth. You pay athletes what they're worth.
Without a doubt.
The issue is these coaches are like, well, I don't want to do this then. And now we're going to lose really good coaching, which means play is going to go down.
I mean, when coaches are like, I don't want to do this, where else would they go?
To TV.
Because there's only so many analyst positions.
Oh, buddy.
Like there's a lot. No, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot. Like you could go write the blogs, you could go do that track. But that being said,
They're also
if you're really that good of a coach, you'll get it done.
Jimbo Fisher made $70 million. He doesn't even have a job right now. He's making $70 million for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, he just... Like, there's a bunch of coaches, like Ed Orgeron, LSU's championship-winning coach from 2019. He's still getting paid from LSU right now.
Oh,
like,
because contracts are just insane how that works.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the coaches can just walk away and be like, all right, cool, see you guys later. Or young coaches can be like, all right, I'm just going to go to the NFL and do this then. Because the grind is just so much in college.
No, the grind is going to burn people, but that's how you kind of cut your teeth, I feel, in a big way.
I don't know.
Because I think we'll see a next level of younger coaches coming in and a lot more creativity.
Maybe. Or maybe we're going to get coaches that probably should have never been in head coaching positions.
No, because the national championship still means too much. It means too much for these schools.
No,
like if they're paying,
I'm not saying it's not going to mean much. I'm just going to say
but
maybe
if
we're
you
going
know
to get play
that,
that's worse.
Well, I think we'll get more parity in the league. More
I think
parity
we're already getting
nationwide.
more parity.
Yeah, we're already getting more parity
Michigan
across.
just won the national championship.
I mean,
They hadn't won a national championship since 1948.
No,
you're telling me that's not parity. I don't know what else is.
but they were always a big dominant school, and I'm saying we're going to see parity. Is I want to see the smaller.
They had a losing record in the past decade in their football program. In our lifetime, we have not seen a dominant Michigan team. So no, that's not. The parity came when they were allowed to pay athletes. That's when Clemson started going down. That's when Alabama started going down. I agree with you. Parity is going to be a thing. It's just
well,
for
I'm saying
coaches
we're
that
see
were dominating in the other style, the old era, the old guard.
Where they were able to pay the players under the table still.
And they're like, we're out. So we're about to lose some guys.
Which, to me, fine. If that's where it's going to sit. Because if you're going to give rid of a $70 million contract that's on the table from one of these schools because you don't like the way that the league is or the college football is being run right now, you're leaving money on the table. And someone else is going to step up and take that.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's move on to a segment we're kind of already talking about.
Sure.
It's the hiring range. Mm-hmm. There are a couple NFL teams that need jobs. More than a couple. More and more every single day.
Yeah, with the Seahawks breaking late. Not Black Monday didn't hit hard. It's been a trickle throughout the week.
It's been the whole week.
Yeah.
It's been a firing week or allocation week for some people. We're going to go through every team. We're going to give you guys our fit for the best position for that organization. We're going to start with the Falcons. Don, what do you think the Falcons should go?
My mind is if you're the Falcons, you have to go all in on either Belichick if he's available. If Belichick does step away, go all in on Belichick. If not, get Vrabel. Those are your best because you're set up for a win now situation. In my opinion, in Atlanta, you have to figure out quarterback without a doubt.
You're going past a huge thing. You think Belichick's leaving?
I think if Belichick leaves New England,
that's not. No. We have to start with: do you think Belichick is leaving?
It sounds like he is.
It sounds to you. So you think he is gone?
I'm buying into he either retires or he is stepping away from New England and someone else can go get him.
I think it's way too much. I think there's way too many people, too much parity. I don't think he's going to pull the trigger. I think Bill Belichick's going to do one farewell tour. It just feels like what's right.
I mean, ideally, but just with the way the last few seasons have gone,
he's had Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi as his quarterback,
but he's kept them.
Yeah, he's also
that's the hard part. He's a GM. He's kept them.
So for the Falcons, you think they're win now, ready to go?
I think that I don't think that they're going to go win a Super Bowl right now. No. But I think that they can be a very competitive. They have elite weapons on offense. That has never been an argument. Bijan, Kyle Pitts, London, yes.
Kyle Pitts is not an elite weapon. I don't know where people have been getting this Kyle Pitts is an elite weapon thing.
If you look at the games where they get him the ball, he is able to do fantastic things with it. But they just don't target him.
He is not an elite weapon. He's a weapon. But to say, this team is full of dogs, unproven pieces. Yes, Bijan Robinson is good. Tyler Allinger, I think, is a good backup running back. Even could start somewhere else.
But the fact that
offensive line is old, it's busted, and it's expensive. That defensive line has some good pieces on it. That secondary has A.J. Terrell and Busters along.
That defense rated 4th overall in red zone defense, 3rd overall in third down defense, 11th overall in total defense.
7 wins.
7 wins because
7 wins.
because you have no quarterback. They were starting Ritter and Heineke all season. If you could get a competent quarterback or just any coach better than Arthur Smith to actually use the hot hand, don't use Jonnu Smith as your lead receiver.
I think that's him telling us, like, hey, Jonnu Smith is literally that much better than Kyle Pitts. And now, do I believe that Jonnu Smith is better than Kyle Pitts? No.
No.
I'm not of the mind of saying Kyle Pitts is great. I think Kyle Pitts is Eric Ebron. I think he's a good talent, but he's nothing super ridiculous that we should be praising, that everyone's like, this guy's the most elite. Yes, he has some cool moments on film, but he has not shown me anything. Drake London, I love Drake London.
Yeah. But if you're only giving him 2 targets a game...
Well, he was getting more than 2 targets a game.
No,
he was getting
there was 3 games this season. He had 2 or less targets.
Yeah.
And he's your lead receiver. No, that was week 9.
The first game he got 1 target.
Yeah, week 9 he got nothing.
Yeah.
If you're giving your lead receiver no targets, that's a scheme issue.
But I can't look at this Falcons team and say definitively they're full of weapons. They're not. They don't have a number 2 receiver. You're basing it off of a tight end that has proven nothing and a rookie running back who is very, very good. That's it. That's their core. That is not a better core than the Raiders have or a Chargers even have.
No, but I would say it's a very strong core that you can build around. That's why you need an experienced coach to kind of lead. Yeah.
So who do you think can take that? Because I think they need a young offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson getting their hands on a young quarterback this draft, whether it's a Michael Penix, and start building, getting a wide receiver number 2 on that team. Because their wide receiver 2 is who? Jefferson?
Van Jefferson and are you saying? Wait, hold on. I'm looking. Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards his rookie year.
His rookie year, he had 1,000 yards.
He had just shy of 700 this year.
Not great.
On 50 catches.
He's not
50 catches.
Elite is my argument.
He was averaging over 12 yards a catch.
Is Kyle Pitts a top 5 tight end in the NFL right now?
I think he can be, arguably.
No. Not can be.
Okay, you have Andrews right now.
Andrews
but he's
isn't
injured.
even the best tight end on his team. Andrews is not the best tight end on his team right now.
So you're putting Isaiah Likely over Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews right now?
I think if he can be. See how dumb that sounds?
No, because we've had a season of seeing him.
Yeah, and since he's gotten the starting job, he's scored every single week. He's insane.
Yeah, but so has Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I think Mark Andrews is really good. I think next year, though, they're going to move off Mark Andrews, and we're going to see a really good Isaiah Likely team. But right now, yes, I would say Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Sam Laporta. Jesus Christ. Who are the guys? I'm blanking. That cough took a lot out of me right now. I would say Evan Ingram is better than him. I would say the guy from the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth, is better than him.
Better than Kyle Pitts.
I think Pat Freiermuth has shown and done more than Kyle Pitts, and I think they're the same draft class.
That's wild.
You don't think?
No,
that's
not
crazy.
At all. Pat Freiermuth is not a downfield threat. He is not going to be a guy that teams have to scheme for.
I think Ferguson has been a better tight end than him.
Ferguson and Schultz.
David Njoku's been a better.
David
Njoku's been a better tight end the past 2 years than Kyle Pitts has been. That's a fact.
You want to read the splits?
Sure, we can read the splits. We can do a splits. I have Ben Johnson. I think it's going to be a really good fit for that organization there. When I look at this organization, I'm like, hey, there's a lot more holes. I think a lot of the public sees the Madden flashes, and they're like, hey, this is a team that doesn't need a lot.
Njoku, besides this season with Flacco going bananas in the last few games.
We're talking about, though.
David Njoku, outside of Flacco,
okay,
outside of the Flacco games, has yet to clear 650 yards in a single season.
Okay,
he's been in the league since 2017.
Correct.
This year, he cleared 800 because he had to end the season with Flacco hyper-targeting him. 6 catches, 10 catches, 6 catches. That's what put him over the line.
Yeah.
If he does not have Flacco hyper-targeting the tight end like he's known to do, has yet to cover 650 with any other quarterback since 2017.
Dallas Goedert is better than Kyle Pitts right now. Dallas Goedert has been better than Kyle Pitts.
Has been better, not now. Because I think I'm downgrading Goddard and Kelce.
All right.
You think
Kelce You'd rather have Kyle Pitts than Kelsey right now.
Right now, yes.
For 1 week. For 1 year.
For 1 year, yes.
That's crazy.
If it's going in the next season, 100%.
That's crazy. TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson's better.
I put him in that same tier.
What? You're crazy. What has it been with Kyle Pitts for you? What is it with Kyle Pitts for you?
It's the fact that he's able to you're able to move him around the field, unlike any of those other tight ends in the same way.
Yeah.
Because he could go play the
Can't
outside.
block. He doesn't block.
He doesn't need to. That's why you got John
So then
Smith.
play receiver. He's not a tight end.
That's ideally put him on a chip, get him over the middle. He's bigger than everyone else.
He doesn't take those contested catches. He does these like flare out routes, and he runs streaks, and he runs quick little.
But that's not on him. That's on the scheme.
Correct.
You're blaming him for the scheme.
No, I'm blaming him for it not being elite. He's not an elite talent. There's been tight ends that don't have elite offenses that show elite numbers or show elite progression. Now, is Arthur Smith a scumbag? For sure.
Sure.
Does he love to bury his favorite players? Absolutely. Are we taking way too long on the Atlanta Falcons? 100%.
Okay,
Ben
we'll move
Johnson
on.
is who
We'll
I'm
move on.
hiring.
No, I think they need to go with like a win now, Vrabel or Belichick. Someone who could put it together in
So
the
then what
next
about
3 years.
What about the LA Chargers?
I say either roll the dice with Kellen Moore, who's already there. Like
You don't think Kellen Moore's too inexperienced? Also, you want to wipe the loser off the organization that is the Chargers.
I'm not blaming Kellen Moore for that. Because
have to blame anyone, it's
he
just-
had a career year out of Keenan Allen, put up his best season of his the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And dealt with injuries for 2 of the games.
Yeah.
You had Mike Williams go down. That's not on you.
It's not.
Joshua Palmer nearly cleared 700 yards as a backup receiver for any other team. Eckler hit the age cliff, but still was able to put up okay numbers.
Eckler's gone next year. So
Eckler's gone. You have your quarterback who broke a finger
Yeah, I mean,
and injured his other hand halfway
But-
through the season.
not halfway with 4 games left.
No, not the broken finger. The other hand, his non-throwing
yeah,
hand,
yeah.
he injured halfway through.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's an injury-riddled offense, and you were still able to put up good numbers.
I think Kellen Moore is not ready for a head coaching job. I think he's, especially with the Chargers, I don't think that's a proper fit. I think they need to do a full system rebuild. I think they need to completely rebuild what this organization is. I think Mike Vrabel, I think he's perfect. He goes in there. I think he wipes the stench of loser off this organization. I think he goes into that organization. He's like, I'm going to teach you guys how to be tough. I'm going to teach you guys how to build. It's going to be ugly, but we're ready to win now. Now, the problem is the Chargers aren't ready to win now, and Mike Vrabel very much wants to win right away.
Exactly.
And I think he can get that team to do things like that. They just have to buy into what he's selling.
To me, this
and
team...
I will tell you this right now. Wherever Mike Vrabel goes, Arthur Smith is following because they're best friends.
That's true, which
Yeah.
is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But to me, I think the Chargers, they need a lot of help on defense.
A lot.
So for the next couple seasons, until they get pieces, until they start developing that defense better, it's going to be an offensive shootout focused team.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with Kellen Moore. If like you're saying, wipe the taste off it, go after Todd Monken. Go after a guy who could scheme for the offense,
I
who
like
could
Todd
keep.
Monken a lot.
I like him a lot.
I think that's a great. I think you picked up that was a perfect little fit right there.
Because it's going to be Herbert carrying the team for the next 3 years until that defense could come around.
I just don't want him to turn to Andrew Luck, where like everything gets put on him and then he just breaks down, and by the time the team's good, he's just not.
No, well, you need the O line.
Yeah.
That's the first thing is repair the O line.
Can you turn my mic up just a tad?
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. I want to go into the next team. It's the Commanders. I think the Commanders are the best job in sports right now.
Yeah, you have the most potential with.
You have a great pick.
You have great picks.
You have new ownership. Magic Johnson's a winner.
Yeah, ownership that is willing to do what it takes to win. Not just Magic Johnson.
Not
every part of
everyone.
that ownership group.
There's going to be a new regime change. They're talking about amping up the stadium. They're talking about changing the name to something that the fans really want and love.
I think they need to be the Hogs.
I
100%
think
they have to be the
we're
Hogs.
both aligned. I've wanted them to be the Red Hogs forever.
That'd be great.
There's a coordinator in this league that I'm so excited to watch be a head coach.
Sure.
I think he's going to take over an organization and immediately change the culture just by the way he is.
Okay.
I don't think he's exactly a scheme guy.
Sure.
Like one of the nerdier guys. I think he's a builder and a defensive mind. I'm talking about Mike McDonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator. This is a guy I love.
Yeah.
This is a guy who immediately comes in and can show your team where to go. This is a team that had an awful defense, and he can walk in. You keep Bieniemy in that offense. You let him run that offense the way he wants to with whatever young quarterback they end up getting. And all of a sudden, you've got a team that is poised to immediately start making noise off the jump. I love this for them. I think the only problem that they're going to have is they got to wait till like mid-February to be able to hire that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he ends up moving on.
Yeah, he's going to move on.
We'll see.
He's a top candidate.
He's a top candidate, but not every top candidate gets pulled away.
When you're a white defensive coordinator,
For me, I have Ben Johnson going here. I think that would be a much better setup. He's been able to disguise a lot of Goff's issues in Detroit. He's able to develop a lot of younger talent, which I think Dotson really needs that kind of assistance at the moment.
He does. Really does.
And that's fine. You have Logan Thomas. He knows how to scheme for like a great pass catching tight end. I think him plus Bieniemy calling the plays, and Ben Johnson developing a new quarterback, being able to use that play action, use Brian Robinson, who's a great ground and pound running back. I think that would complement very well for the organization in the short term, where they could go get their guy in 2-3 years at QB. Because you don't need an elite QB in the meantime if you run what the Lions have been running on offense. Yeah, you can get away with an average guy and be competitive with great weapons around him. You don't
want an average guy.
No, you don't want to.
In a division like that. And in the NFC, I mean, we're on it right now.
Yeah.
The NFC is in a weird bit of an arms race where there is no clear-cut number one quarterback in the NFC.
No.
All top 5 quarterbacks currently reside in the AFC, and some could even say most of the top 10. The best quarterback in the NFC right now is Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Hurts, and all those guys have clear deficiencies.
In some capacity, yes.
The Commanders have the ability to go after a quarterback in this draft. A guy, let's just say somehow they get Caleb Williams or even Drake May, or maybe they love themselves some Jaden Daniels, and they're able to progress that athlete to being the best quarterback in the division. In the conference,
yeah,
you're talking about a team that is poised to make Super Bowl runs.
Oh, without a doubt.
I love the potential of this organization.
No, it's there. It's
for the first time ever. I've hated this organization my whole life.
Well, I mean, that was more because of Snyder than anything.
Name, Snyder,
yeah.
Feel, they're bad. They were bad. They're still bad.
But they have potential now, and that's why I think having a more offensive mind, it could develop a young QB better.
Let's go into the Tennessee Titans locker room. This one was a little harder for me to figure out.
Okay.
I took a cheat way.
Sure.
I saw who they interviewed.
Yeah.
I think Antonio Pierce would work really well in this team.
He would. He's a guy who could build a culture.
Depending on what coordinators he gets, he's the kind of guy for me that needs stud coordinators in order to run efficient offenses here.
Yes.
It really just does feel though, if he does get hired, he's going to take all of his Raider friends with him, and they're going to run whatever they're running in Las Vegas, and over there in Tennessee, which is an organization that, if we're being honest, is a complete rebuild.
It needs to be completely rebuilt, from the ground, because you have Derrick Henry stepping away, you have a young quarterback, you have a rookie quarterback, rookie top running back, and a second-year wide receiver. That's your core that you're building around at the moment. Treylon Burks, Spears.
Burks is bad.
Burks is not the guy, but they spent money on him. You're going to have to keep him around for another season or two.
Have to. You can just... Ramaduze is going to be in the draft. That's all I'm saying. I think what the Titans are probably going to end up doing is they're going to give Pierce the job for a year, and they're going to let him play for it again like he's doing right now with the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And based on that year, they'll cut him. There's always one of those head coaches that gets a job, and they're like, all right, we'll give you a job for a year. And if they suck, they're almost their job is to tank, so that way they can get the number 1 pick for the next year. I think that's what this job's going to be. I just have a bomb signal on it where it's just watch out, boys.
I mean, I'm kind of in the similar vein there with the rebuild. The team is going to be completely rebuilt. For me, I'm looking at Steve Wilkes or Dan Quinn for this kind of with a rebuilding team. You want someone who's more
Dan Quinn's a very good spot for this
because they're experienced head coaches. They're going to be able to navigate through a rough season. They're going to be more defensively focused.
But dude, they go back-to-back defensive culture fit coaches, or do you think they're starting to get jealous of like they got Shane Steichen and they got D'Amico Ryans in the division now, guys who can like scheme up and be the coach's guy. Like the AFC South is getting aggressively better, and we could say we're going to talk about the Jaguars later, but like the AFC South has the potential of next year being one of the best divisions in football, and Titans want to be in that mix.
They're not going to be there next year.
Maybe not, but in 2 years.
But in 2-3 years, yeah. But if you're doing a one season, hey, just navigate us through a rebuild.
Maybe
take an experienced head coach who's just going to be bouncing around for the next couple seasons anyway.
But do these experienced head coaches want to go to a job like that?
I mean,
and then I have to take a step back right now and say there's only 32 coaching jobs in the NFL. Anyone getting the opportunity to coach to be one
is a great opportunity there.
Unless you're going to Carolina.
I mean, oh, goodness. Anybody who goes there, pray for him.
Las Vegas.
Stick with Antonio Pierce. Just as simple as that. They have to. He has proven he deserves that job. I have three phases on this because that's what they should be doing.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
What should they do?
My opinion, they need to stick with Antonio. He's won the locker room. He's built a culture. That team has been playing very, very well with him.
What they should do is they should get on the phone, call a little head coach in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and say, how much money do you want? We know you conquered college football. Now you get to come to the NFL and do the last thing you didn't get to do. Be one of the chosen few that get to say, I won. You've gone everywhere. You've won, and you've changed losing organizations into winners. Now, come do it to one of the most historic, proud, and legendary franchises in all of sports, the Las Vegas Raiders. Not only are you going to come here and reset the culture, you're going to set it in the way that Raider fans want it the most. Tough, physical, beat your face into the ground football. By the way, we're going to also pay you $100 million for 5 years. We'll see you on the flight. Jim Harbaugh.
Two big things with Harbaugh. He's a splashy name. He is without a doubt, which Davis loves. Davis. He likes going after the
Raiders. Love names. They're like the Lakers in that sense, where they're like
very true.
They're every mock draft I watch, they already have Caleb Williams on the roster.
No, they're name culture. But two big issues with Harbaugh there is
we don't know if he's leaving.
And the Falcons are meddling in that already.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, the owner, for those who don't know, the Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, is a Michigan alum, and he is putting a lot of money on the line to keep Harbaugh in Michigan because he wants Michigan to continue to win. He wants them to continue to be on top there.
Yeah.
So I don't even, and it's also adding to the fact that you don't have to have that head coach compete against you in the NFL.
That's what they should do. What do you think they're going to do?
I mean, to me, I don't think they should go Harbaugh because I don't think Davis could afford him.
Okay.
Like that because they
probably can't.
They are pissing away money on head coaches lately, so I don't think that they can afford him. What they should do is Pierce. What they're realistically, if they're going to move on, because they like to move on from these interim head coaches. Purpose, like I kind of see him similar to the Titans. Go get a Vrabel or a Quinn.
You have Vrabel going and Dan Quinn going to 3 different teams.
I'm saying go get one of the experienced coaches and rebuild. Just fully rebuild. Because you need to.
So let's
Josh Jacobs is gone this season. Devontae Adams wants out. You have no clear quarterback whatsoever.
Devontae Adams is staying.
You think he's going to stay? He is.
He doesn't get the opportunity. He doesn't get to say.
He doesn't get to say, but he could sit. And
not get paid. At 30 years old, he's not going to do that. He can't do that. It would literally ruin him. It'd be the worst decision. Jacobs is gone. Oh no, we don't have a running back. What are we going to do? Spend a 4th round pick on a 1 for the next 4 years? Cool. Like that, running backs are so. Go get them.
Yeah, you could go get them, but when you have a very good talent, like Jacobs is only 25.
So
he's going to go
25. 26 is the running back hill. 26 is the running back.
The cliff is 29.
The cliff is 26 and a half. I think it's that 26th season. Because usually by 26th season is your 5th season in the league.
Typically.
Yeah, so it's usually around year 5, year 6. It's where you start falling. Now, this generation running backs staying alive a little longer, to be honest. The Alvin Kamara's, the Christian McCaffrey's, the Nick Chubb just died, but like those guys.
Well, I mean, that was injury, though. That's not on him. He was still doing very well up until then.
Ezekiel Elliott's, like those guys fell
Kamara,
off.
he's 29.
Yeah, I know the
Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, same age.
Derrick Henry's been bad for years. I don't know what you want from that. This guy,
Okay.
He's like, Derrick Henry? What? Does he know what show he's on?
Oh my goodness. But no, I think that this team needs just go get an experienced 1-year rental head coach just to kind of guide a team through a rebuild for a year or two. But that's not how the Raiders operate. That's not how Davis operates. They're going to go make some crazy overpay for Kellen Moore, give him $60 million, and he's the big analytical offensive guy. He's going to be the splash play and then run him out of town in 2 years.
I think
That's the realistic.
I think the Raiders have to just get realistic about what their expectations are. If they don't get a Jim Harbaugh, if they don't get a Mike Vrabel, I don't think they're going to get Dan Quinn because I think Dan Quinn's going to go to the next team we're talking about.
Sure.
I think it's pretty much set in stone already. I think they do need to keep Antonio Pierce, but Antonio Pierce feels like the consolidation prize when everybody else gets new fun weapons and toys and stuff, and you're at Christmas and you're like, I guess I got these socks, you know? I like these socks.
He's earned it. To me, he's earned the job.
I don't think there's any...
that team has taken a step forward since he's taken over as head coach. Their defensive splits have improved. The offense actually started rolling and scoring points. Like, he was a step up the minute he took over.
Here's the thing. Will he continue to be the step up? Will he be the right direction for that organization going forward?
For one more season while they find a quarterback, while they find a running back? What's the worst that can be there?
You don't think they found a quarterback? In Aiden O'Connell?
No.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Aiden O'Connell is not we're going to be able to compete with the Mahomes and Herbert quarterback.
No, and I don't think they're going to ever find one. I don't think they're ever going to find one because those guys are rare breed, special top 5 talents, top 6 talents.
True.
Last team we're going to talk about, the Seattle Seahawks. They just lost their head coach.
Like you said, Dan Quinn's already heavily tied to this team.
Yeah, Dan Quinn's already the head coach. It's locked in.
Well, because he has a long history of the Seahawks. He's had 2 different stints there. I think from 2007 to 2012. I think he was their coordinator, if I remember off the top of my head.
It was 2009 to 2014.
There we go.
Yeah, and ran one of the best defenses of all time. Some would say he was the architect of that defense. He ended up going to Atlanta, running an efficient and really, really well-run team. Got them to a Super Bowl.
And then
we all know
things
what happened.
Yeah.
He got fired. I don't think he should have gotten fired. I think he's a legit head coach. I think he should have taken over as the Cowboys head coach years ago, and I think they're going to regret this decision. My thing about this for the Seattle Seahawks is they're clearly saying, we like what we have in the Pete Carroll system and the franchise and the tone that we have in this organization. How do we continue to keep this tone? Let's go get a guy that we trust, love, and we can just hand the reins to someone that we trust. Pete Carroll trusts. Dan Quinn, come home. It just feels like the perfect mashup ever.
It does feel good for them in that aspect. I think that they have a lot of very strong weapons that they could build around on offense.
Well, Tyler Lockett's probably gone.
Lockett, realistically, it's a contract year for him, but you have JSN, you have Metcalf, you have Walker in the backfield. Like, you have good core pieces you can go around at the moment. It's the defense
needs a little help.
You have 2 tackles who are out for almost the entire season.
Yeah, secondary's insane. You got 2 elite corners in Witherspoon and Wolin. I forgot their names right now. You're eating a hole with that Jamal Adams contract, but you could probably get rid of it after next year, so it's not that bad. You got good draft picks. It's a elite job. That's why I'm like, Dan Quinn, just go right now.
Because they just need a small shift. They don't need a big swing.
That's
exactly.
I think they do need to go get a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Gino.
We're going to be doing our off-season breakdowns.
Sure. We'll go into that.
Like in another episode, we're going to be breaking down every team, what we think they should be doing in free agency and draft, and how we feel after these head coaches have been hired and GMs have been hired. How we feel like what direction they should be going in the draft. We'll be doing that in the very short future.
Yep. Because a lot of this will get clearer as the weeks go on.
But that was hiring range. That was way longer than I had ever predicted. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go gambling ring.
All right.
We're gonna go bust of the week. We're gonna go gold star of the week, pick 6, and we're gonna end it.
Sure.
Right? Gambling ring. Wild card. It's the weekend. It's the time. Browns, Texans. I guess in order to talk about this game, we got to talk about how we got here.
Joe Flacco coming off the couch and being elite.
No, I was going to talk about the Colts.
I was gonna move past that if you wanted it.
No, because I'm not going to talk about them later.
You're not going to talk about them for the rest of the season.
Oh, that was
Bang bang.
That was uncalled for. I was having the worst day of my life, and I just needed the Colts to win. Goodson drops that ball, that bad ball thrown by Gardner Minshew.
It wasn't terrible. It was off target, but it was catchable. But why did you have a fourth string running back in?
I don't. I wear the.
If you worry about Jonathan Taylor pass catching, fine. Zach Moss has done it all season.
I don't know, Don.
That makes no sense.
The truth is, Jonathan Taylor was having the best game I've seen him play in a very, very, very long time. A performance I honestly thought I was never going to get from him ever again.
Yeah.
I had come to the realization that I was not going to see that Jonathan Taylor ever again. Whatever. Gardner Minshew was playing fine. He was doing Gardner Minshew things. Michael Pittman was playing his butt off. I keep seeing Josh Downs going in motion and me doing these quick little handoffs. I'm like, all right, we're running the clock. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the moment. Shane Steichen I've been doing nothing but praising you. And everything I said that you were going to do, I was 100% right on. Everyone was 100% wrong on. What Shane Steichen does is he can take any quarterback and make them efficient. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen blowing up on the field, saying, looking at Gardner on the sideline, going, "That's you. That's your fault." Immediately blaming him lit a light in my head that made me go, "Oh, I don't like this for the locker room. I don't like this for the culture going forward." For him immediately to go, "Oh, that was my quarterback's fault." I don't like that. I don't like what precedent that's going to send for my young 21-year-old quarterback that's coming off an injury, who's probably going to have issues with accuracy right away because it takes time off an AC joint repair. I'm really, really worried about how toxic that can get. Now, I get it. It was a big moment. People have moments of weakness. The Colts lost. CJ Stroud played pretty good. They're playing in a playoff game. Browns, Texans. Give me the Browns. Joe Flacco, I love you. You're the best. You're going to do this. You're going to build a statue of you in Cleveland, and Don's got to suck it.
No, I'm taking Browns minus 2.5. They're just the better team at the moment.
Me too. Browns
Cooper,
minus 2.5.
Njoku, Flacco, video game like numbers. Brown is still, I would say, top 2 defense in the NFL, like all season long.
They're insane. Like the fact their sustainability to be this great. Also, Kevin Stefanski, last year people were like, he should probably get fired. This year, he should be coach of the year. He should be coach of the year.
I would give it to
Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh.
No, I was going to say the Texans are the Colts head coaches. Like both of them have DeMeco Ryan or Steichen have just played have coached their team to just overperform at such a high level.
I think DeMeco Ryan gets a bailout of having the rookie of the year, who's maybe a top 10 quarterback in the league now. Right off the rip.
But he was able to give the reins. He was able to trust the quarterback, find the weapons. Like your number 1 goes down, and you have Nico Collins as your number 2. Noah Brown.
Nico Collins was the number 1 all year.
Tank Dell was a favorite.
Tank Dell had very big games.
But then even when Nico was out, he still had an elite game with Noah Brown.
And then when Tank Dell went down, Nico Collins has still stepped up.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, I think they're in that conversation.
Before the season started, people were laughing at the Texans wide receiver core. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
this Texans team could
we
win
thought
this
they
game.
were going to be down in the basement for another 2 years.
I expected basement level,
but for me, no, I'm taking the Brown. I'm just confident in Flacco in playoffs. He's a scary, scary man.
Especially
in playoffs.
this hot.
Yeah,
especially this hot. Dolphins, Chiefs. The coldest game in NFL history. It's going to be, -5?
It's going to be 0 degrees when the game starts.
Yeah.
They're saying that the low during the game time could go down to -7.
Insane. Funny that you said -7. I'm willing to take this game up to -7 for the Chiefs. -4 right now.
Yeah, it was bet up. It was -1.5 when the line opened earlier this week. It's moved in -4 for the Chiefs.
We actually have a friend. Our friend's brother goes to school right outside of Kansas City.
Yep.
About 15 minutes out. And he says it's hell over there right now.
Oh, I believe it,
He
without
says
a doubt.
It's so scary. They shut down the school, and he's doing 100% like online classes now. He's like, he plays football right there in Missouri. And he's like, I don't know how they could legally play a football game on Sunday.
I think
he's like, I don't get it.
Did you hear the quote
I did.
after the end of last season, or at the end of week 18 from Ezekiel Elliott?
No.
So he was Ezekiel Elliott after the Patriots-Jets game. Afterwards was being interviewed, and he goes, growing up, I've always wanted to play a game in the snow. I thought it always looked fun. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, what'd you think of this? He goes, it was hell. I never want to do it again.
Never want to do it again.
And that's what this is going to be.
But the Chiefs have an elite defense.
Yep.
They're going to go out there. They're going to do what they do. I have the Chiefs. I have the under as well.
Yeah, I'm taking the under at 44. The under for the Chiefs at home this season 7-1-1.
Love it.
The under an
Love it,
overall
love it.
Chiefs game on the season has hit 71% of the time.
Love it. Don,
Chiefs
it's
has
my
not been able
favorite
to
bet of the
score.
week.
I love it. Because
Miami,
coming from sunny Florida, like it's been moderate
who couldn't
temperatures.
score last week against Buffalo.
They only have one win against a team over 500 this entire season.
I don't think Waddle's coming back either.
No, Waddle's going to be out for this game most likely with an ankle injury. Bradley
Dude,
Chubb is out.
Mostert
Mostert is still a little banged up.
It's done. Give me the Chiefs. Sorry, Dolphins. You had another. Or can we call it good?
I think they had a great season. They were competing for the number 1 seed at one point.
Would they finish 6th, 7th seed?
By losing to the Bills,
6th seed.
they finished 6th. They were one game behind the 2nd seed.
Steelers, Bills.
Okay, so amateur meteorologist time. Another very frigid game. This thing is going to be played in a freezer. They're expecting average of
played in a freezer. I like that.
That's what this is going to be.
Lock that away. Let somebody use that for later.
Snowstorm,
Yeah.
30-mile-an-hour winds average. They're
Beautiful.
saying between 25 to 35, so I'm picking 30. 45 to 60-mile-an-hour gusts.
So you tell me Mason Rudolph got him exactly where he wants him.
I'm saying this is going to be a ground game.
Yeah.
Weird fact with northern games up by the Great Lakes, there is a phenomenon called the lake snow effect, where the Great Lakes typically warmer water than the surrounding atmosphere of the snow.
Okay.
If the wind hits the lakes just right,
Is it going to?
and it's projected to because the wind is going sideline to sideline in Buffalo at the moment. It is
Okay.
not going down the field. It is going sideline to sideline, not through the goalposts.
Okay.
If it hits just right during this game, they see an increase of 2 to 3 inches of snow
Beautiful.
for that time. You can
love it.
see a visible wall of snow come through Buffalo if it hits just right for this game.
love it.
And right now, a lot of people are projecting that it will
love it.
happen. This is going to be a blizzard.
How is this line at 10?
This line's at 10 because you have TJ Watt out. He's been ruled out. He's
don't
going to
care.
be gone.
We learned multiple times if the weather is there, nothing matters. It's more about whoever makes mistakes first.
It is.
It's not about offensive lineup. It's not about how well your defense lines up. It's literally about who's going to fall and accidentally leave a lane, and then like someone gets like an 18-yard run enough.
Yeah,
Like, that's what it's about.
And gross, ugly games are what these teams do in the winter.
And I know
They're
the
built for
Steelers
it.
can be tough. Steelers just played a nasty game last week. They know exactly what it's like to play in a nasty game and win when you need to. I like the Steelers plus 10.
I'm taking the Bills minus 10 in this game.
That's crazy.
The
to me.
biggest dividing line for me is Josh Allen, throughout his NFL career,
Yeah.
has been able to throw in these kinds of games.
In freezers?
In snowstorms, he has been able. The last big game that has happened in that area that was like this was 2021 Bills Patriots, and he was able to throw for 158 yards
That's so many yards.
in a snowstorm game where there was 300 rushing yards on the ground. He was the only one to pass.
That's so
Patriots combined for 2 passes for 8 yards that game. That's why I think the big differential
That's a
is
good stat.
Josh Allen has
stat.
that much of a cannon that he can push it through for 7-8 yards in these kinds of
But
conditions.
can these wide receivers run routes in the snow?
That's going to be the big.
That's another thing.
But they live up there. They've had all week to practice in this.
That's
That's
true.
the
very
big
true.
thing. Is
Let's move
travel
on to the
sucks.
Packers versus Cowboys. Jordan Love beating the Bears.
Yep.
I said
that
it last-
defense. That defense beat the Bears.
Very good team. this defense, the Cowboys have shown they're not really great against teams that win. I don't want to pick a winner here. I'm going to take the easy way out.
Sure.
I'm going to take the over. I think Jordan Love can get in the end zone twice or 3 times. I think the Cowboys have a really good offense. At home, they just score. I like the over 50.5. Plus, it's a game that I can just turn on, watch, and just root for touchdowns. And that's like the perfect game for me.
For me, I'm taking the Cowboys minus 7.5 in this game. They've won 16 straight at home. 12 of those 16, they've covered the spread in that. They are just elite. Their spreads at home are just so much better. Also, Green Bay has struggled against the NFC East. They're 1-5 in their last 5 games. I just don't trust Love to be able to, this being his first starting season, go into Jerry World and keep up with Dak.
I don't think he's going to keep up. I think there's going to be garbage. There's just going to be some garbage moments.
There will be some garbage moments, but the Cowboys at home just scare me.
I think this game could easily be like 21-42.
Yeah.
Like that's a real score.
That's very realistic.
Rams-Lions. This is a game a lot of people are hyping up because Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. People are talking about, like, this is the rivalry game. This is everything. This is
double revenge game.
This is where we find out who won the trade. That's a fact.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. This is where we find out
Stafford already has a ring.
Doesn't matter. It does matter, but like
Stafford, unless the Lions win the
Lions
ring,
won the division for the first time ever. Like it really is like, let's figure it out. Who wins it?
In my mind, unless the Lions win a ring, Rams made the better deal.
I'm gonna give you guys. I agree, and I agree. I'm gonna give you guys a little tip on what I did this year. I took the Ravens to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Beginning of the season. Last week, I didn't take anybody. I looked at the board. I looked at the odds. 2 days ago, I said it. I'm doing it. Plus 6,000 Rams to win the Super Bowl. I took them.
Sure.
Put money on it.
Okay.
It's my biggest bet. This is where it starts. Matthew Stafford, an elite offense. That run defense is better than most people think. Give me the Rams plus 3.
For me, I'm taking the over 51.5 in this game.
I don't love it.
I really do. For me, because the Lions secondary has been exposed, they can be passed on, and Stafford is going to run up the numbers. At the same time, Jameson Williams, big play guy for the Lions, is going to be back this week.
Is he?
Yeah, his ankle injury. That's why they rested him last week, is to get him prepped for this. Yes, Laporta is out, but oddly, Laporta being out raises Amon-Ra from great to borderline elite numbers typically.
He's elite all the time.
Well, okay, so Amon-Ra St. Brown, targets per route run, 28% of the time normally. So for every route, he has a 28% chance of being the target.
Yeah.
With Laporta out, that number goes from 28 to 32%.
Yeah, he's a big target share there.
Clearly.
Yeah, probably the highest number in the league when.
But his average yards per route run, 2.54 normally on the season. It jumps to 3.2. The only guy to cover that is Tyreek Hill on the season. So it's not just that he's getting more targets, but he's getting more yards per target every single time. He is up there. He's in the Tyreek level yards per target.
Let's do a little Amon-Ra prop.
I think he's at 78.5 for his receiving line right now.
Maybe.
I think 7.5 at 7.5 receptions, if I remember correctly. Last time I checked.
I think it's gonna be a Jahmyr Gibbs game.
I think I have Gibbs to go for Tutty this week for my player prop stuff. I have Amon-Ra for 8 catches. And then I also have Puka Nacua over 47.5 receiving yards.
Those are all really good bets.
Those just all feel very good.
Take all those with you.
But I think these two teams are going to throw very well. Yeah. They're going to be able to run up the score. 51.5 seems very doable. Last game we're going to talk about, the Monday night game, Eagles versus Buccaneers. Eagles losing to the Giants last week, losing everywhere, losing left and right. Mm-hmm. Buccaneers barely beating the worst team in the league this year. Barely 9-0, yeah.
And they started their players.
Yes.
Baker looked bad. Everyone is taking the Eagles, as they should. They have to win this game. The Buccaneers look dead now. They look like they won their Super Bowl 3 weeks ago. But I can't bet against Baker.
Oh, I'm taking Bucks plus 3.
Don,
I'm in the trenches.
Go, buddy.
I'm in the trenches on that one. Eagles lost 5 of their last 6. Huge reason, though,
They're
for me,
dead, right?
the biggest change in their last 6 games, their defense stopped getting turnovers.
Their whole team stopped playing football.
Their whole team stopped playing football. Well, you have...
A.J. Brown's hurt also.
A.J. Brown's banged up. You have Devonta Smith with an ankle and hip injury. That's why they rested him last week. They'll try to get him back for this. Eagles have yet to have an official practice this week.
Did Jalen Smith break his finger? Did they talk about that?
I haven't seen anything on him for that.
In the game, his finger was like backwards, and I was like, "Oh, we're not going to address that." And I haven't seen any news about it.
I haven't seen anything about it. The other big guy is Darius Slay is still being listed as questionable. He's most likely not playing. But Eagles defense, they've lost 7 straight games of turnover battles.
Yeah, they're awful.
Where they started the league as one of the best.
Yeah.
They also have only gotten 13 sacks in the last 8 games. Their entire defensive line, something has shifted in that mentality. They are not getting to the quarterback anymore. They are not shutting down the run like they traditionally have from the beginning of the season.
Love it.
Something is 180 there.
Love it. I know what happened. They just fell apart. I've never seen a team fall apart the way the Eagles have this year.
No.
The fact that they were 10-1 at one point, and we were like, this is another team that's just going to the Super Bowl again. And out of nowhere, they just fell apart like a bad paper mache project, and you're just standing there looking at the remnants on the floor being like,
what's going on?
I thought you guys were good. And you're just like kicking it. You're like, come on, man, let's play. And they don't want to play at all.
No.
They don't want to play at all.
And Baker Mayfield this season, if he gets over 2.4 seconds in the pocket, 96 passer rating or above this entire season. If they are not sacking the quarterback anymore, Baker is gonna have time, and that is a scary thing for the Bucs.
I know we're running out of time, and we're gonna go through the next few segments very, very fast. I do want to talk about Baker Mayfield really quickly.
Sure.
Nathan. What do you do with the Buccaneers if they win a playoff game and Baker Mayfield on a contract year?
You have to run it back. You have to at least franchise tag.
You can't. A franchise tag is $48 million.
I mean, you're gonna have to eat it. I think
you're gonna eat $48 million for Baker, or sign him to $35-40 a year.
If you could sign him, that's better.
You can't sign him. It's just, do you? Because to me, I love Baker. I love what he's done. I love the maturity he stepped into. But at this point, signing Baker Mayfield is like signing Geno Smith last year. It's like, oh, it's a good story, and yeah, but for the furtherment and the betterment of your franchise, it's probably not a good idea to do it.
Most likely, but if they win this game,
the only
it is going to be tough to convince the fans otherwise.
The only reason they're winning games is because they still have that Super Bowl remunerated roster. They still have guys that are around, but hey, guess what? Mike Evans got to get paid. Other guys are leaving that team very soon.
Well, Godwin and Evans,
1,000 yards.
One of the only 3 receiver duos to hit 1,000 yards again.
Yeah, that's
in a big way because of Baker.
Those guys are great.
Yep.
Let's move on to bust of the week. I'm gonna go quick. I'm going with the Jaguars as my bust of the week.
Sure. That collapse. Oh my goodness.
It's more of like a bust of like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I told you guys they weren't going to win the division. I thought the Colts were going to. I was wrong there. Jaguars suck. I'm so happy. I don't hate the Jaguars in my division. They're just dudes to me. But it is funny watching them fall apart and then being like, well, I guess I don't know how Doug Peterson didn't get fired. That's a whole other thing. But Jaguars bust of the week for me.
For me, it's going to be the San Jose Sharks. Going into the midseason right now, they are one of the worst teams in the NHL. Oh, awful. But I could forgive a bad team if I know they're tanking or if they're just not in a good season. They've been borderline unwatchable.
They're bad.
They are bad. They have allowed 26 goals in the last 4 games. And to me, I think this team is just going to be completely torn down. When you have a head coach after their 7-1 loss against Toronto the other day, he sat down for the pros game and he was like, I know you guys have to ask your questions, and I know that these are going to come up, but losing sucks.
Losing sucks.
And it's a mentality issue. And it's hard, and no one has to go through. He spent 5 minutes talking about how bad losing is. Yeah. That is a coach who's mentally no longer there.
I'm a loser. Cooked. I know exactly what it's like to constantly lose. I'm a loser.
Also, they have a negative 90-point differential at halfway through the season.
Beautiful.
One of the most ever through 41 games. They are the lowest goal share since the 1992-93 Ottawa Senators.
Beautiful.
They are second in NHL history for lowest goal share at the moment.
Let's go into Gold Star of the Week. I'm going with Michigan. Congrats, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
Congrats,
good for them.
Blake Corum. Congrats, J.J. McCarthy. Congrats, that entire team. You guys won a national championship, the last of the Final Four. And next year, when we're watching the top 12 teams play in a giant tournament, we're going to look back and be like, man, that was so stupid. Why'd we only do 4? What was this, the 1800s when championships were based off of 3-win seasons? What are we doing? So, congrats. You won the last irrelevant playoff championship that people are going to look back in 50 years and be like, those don't even really count. They weren't even in the top 12, playoff format back then. So, congrats, man. You won one. That's my Gold Star.
Wow, that was the most backhanded Gold Star I've heard.
Now you get one.
For me, I'm taking Matthew Stafford this week, setting up historic numbers again with Puka Nacua. He has now quarterbacked the leading receiver overall in yards for a season, one of the first ever Triple Crown winners in Cooper Kupp, and now the rookie receiving yard record in both yards and receptions.
He's
because Puka did exactly what I said he was going to do. 4 catches and they pull him.
They pulled him right away. I was like, that's my boy.
That's all he needed for the
Don was
record,
right.
and they got him out of
locked it
there.
in.
Stafford is a man
Love him.
that is leading history for the wide
Is
receivers.
Stafford the best quarterback in the NFC right now, going in the playoffs still?
It's him or Dak. It's him or Dak. I can't split it.
I think it's him.
Because I like CD too much.
He should be. He can win the big game already.
He can.
We're going to finish with pick 6, our fastest pick 6 that we got. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with a few NFL picks, and then I got some basketball. So, I already told you guys, plus 6,000 the Rams. That's going to be my first pick.
All right.
My second pick is going to be the Dolphins team total under 19.5. I don't think they can score 3 touchdowns in this snow game. They're going to have a tough time.
Too.
That environment's going to be tough. That defense is really tough. No Waddle, no Mostert, 19.5.
I like that. For me, I'm taking the Packers Cowboys under 50.5. Dallas is just an elite defense when they're playing at home. For some reason, Packers wide receivers keep getting chest injuries this season. I don't understand what it is.
Every single one.
Every single one has been listed with a chest injury at least once, and I don't know if that's something going on with the medical staff for the Green Bay is trying to Tyrod Taylor them all, or I don't know what's going on there, but every single one of their receivers who've gotten a snap on the field has had a chest injury at some point this season.
I don't know.
And it leaves so many question marks.
The only other thing is they have to be dropping Batista bombs on each other in the locker room. That's the only other explanation I can come up with. Or that, or they're not wearing they're not wearing pads.
They're not. Does Jordan Love secretly just have that strong of a cannon in practice that it's just denting dudes' chests?
They're doing what we used to do in middle school bathrooms. They're going bodies. They're leaving each other's faces open. They're just smashing each other's fists into each other's chests, and you just walk out of the locker room smelling like Axe body spray and bruises. That's what they're doing. They're doing. That makes sense.
That's the only thing that does make sense.
Funny that we're here. I'm taking Jaden Reed touchdown. Plus 165. So
that's not a bad line. He's become the number one there for Green Bay.
He scores all the time. He's the number 1 receiver. I drafted him in Dynasty this year, so I'm very excited to.
I don't blame you there.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
For my second one, I'm taking Browns Texans under 44.5 here. Stroud's first time seeing Myles Garrett. I know these two teams combined for 58 in their last go around 3 weeks ago, week 16, but that was multiple interceptions by Case Keenum. Davis Mills had to take over. It was a very, very sloppy game, seeing 4 interceptions and 131 yards of combined penalties on the game. I think with Stroud, the offense is going to be more controlled. Texans on the season, 15th overall neutral game script. They like to establish the run, so if this game stays close, they're going to be running the ball, slowing the tempo down a good amount. And to me, I just see the Browns defense being able to keep a lid on this too well. Flacco will get it done when he needs to.
You got another one, by the way.
I have another one. Oh, my other one is going to be double up on this game. Flacco for over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
That's the line?
The line is 1.5 traditionally for every quarterback at the moment, yes. The line is going to move up quickly. The line will shift quickly, but most books have it at 1.5 when it opened.
Dude, I think I love that line.
I do too. The Browns' run game has been very inefficient. Inside the 20s, Kareem Hunt's averaging 2.4 yards a carry. Jerome Ford's averaging 1.5 yards a carry inside the 20s.
Gardner Minshew could have had 3 touchdowns by himself, and Joe Flacco's better than Gardner Minshew right now.
That's what I'm saying. I would take Flacco up for 3. That wouldn't scare
agree.
me off. That would not scare me off.
It'd have to be pretty good plus money, but I would take it.
Yeah, without a doubt there.
Do you have any more NFLs?
I have 3 more NFLs.
Go all 3.
From the other
Make
one,
it
I'm
quick.
taking Bills Steelers under 35, where it sits today and Wednesday. It was at 40. It dropped to 35.
That's
floating
That's
around.
a fantastic number.
I love it
It's
there.
a fantastic number.
Just for all the reasons I said earlier with the snow game and everything. This is just going to be a gross game. The last time we had weather like this in that part of the country, 14-10 New England Bills.
Beautiful.
My other one, I'm taking Bills Steelers, the longest field goal, under 45.5. That is the current line for the longest field goal in this game. The under feels great just due to the wind trajectory at the moment. It is going sideline to sideline, which is the worst possibility for kickers, to the point where they may, if there is a touchdown scored in this game, they may go for 2. I'm liking the prop for 2-point conversion as well. It's a +2. It's a +425.
Plus 425?
If you think that there's going to be a successful 2-point conversion in this game. I like it just because the weather just does not bode well for kickers. My last NFL pick, Kadarius Toney, under 1.5 receptions. This is a very low line, very razor-thin margin of error, but Toney's been missing since Week 15, hip and ankle injuries. His time at the Chiefs, since dating back to last season, they limit his snaps dramatically his first game back from injury. It's happened 3 times so far. First game last season, 18% of snaps, no targets. Next time he came back from injury, 6% of snaps, 1 target, 1 catch. And in the Super Bowl last year, he was on the field only for 11% of snaps, 1 target, 1 catch.
That's everything you want. Everything you want.
And also since Week 7, he's been under 2 catches 4 out of 7 games that he's played.
Love it.
He's not getting the ball anymore.
I have 3 Thursday night basketball picks.
All right.
They're gonna be pretty. They're gonna be ugly. One of them's really ugly. So
Love it.
Sit with me. I have the Cavaliers -3.
Sure.
Cavaliers got Donovan Mitchell back. They're kind of healthy. They're gonna be playing a really, really bad team. We're good. Lock it in. OKC versus Portland. We're going to take the over 232.5. Anthony Simons has been back. He's been running the offense in Portland. They've been running really, really well. And it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are very good. I know that they haven't really gelled well with their young organization. One thing that they can do is score points. I feel like that line is an easy smash. This one's the scary one. Lakers -2 against a Suns team.
Ooh.
I know. It's tough. But Bradley Beal might be out again. And they really don't play defense on that team. But we don't score. So it's gonna be tough. But -2, I like them. I love what the Lakers can be. That's my last pick of the pick 6. And for the pray for your parlay, I took the 3 teams, Don.
Sure.
That we both agreed on.
Okay.
That we're gonna win. I took the Bucks, I took the Cowboys, and I took the Browns, all money line. Put that in a parlay, +402.
That's not bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Not bad right there.
Throw a little $10 burger on it and win a $40 back. If you want to go make a big money parlay, go make the big money parlay. Add one of your favorite teams. Call it a day.
For that $40, that pays for your pizza for the weekend.
That's the weekend pizza, dude. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Bust Picks. My name is Dio Reynoso.
Don, what's going on?
And remember,
Pray for the parlay.